Several years ago, my family was staying at my grandparents' house for the Easter holiday. The first night we were there, I had a spooky but harmless experience that I was eager to tell my family about the next morning. The drawers of my dresser had mysteriously opened up by themselves, and my grandparents had awoken to find a brown substance smeared across the countertops in the kitchen. Nobody could explain where the brown stuff came from or what it even was. While we were all speculating about what it could be, my grandmother told me that I needed to talk to my cousin about what happened when she was in high school. My cousin, who will be called Lauren, lived far out in the country on a big farm in South Texas. The house was set back from the road, with a long dirt driveway leading up to it. There were two very tall and very old oak trees that grew right by the driveway. All the cousins would spend the days climbing the trees and swinging on the rope swings that hang from the branches. The house itself had been built on the property when Lauren's parents were first married. Lauren stayed in the same bedroom for her whole life. Nothing strange ever happened to her until she was early into high school. She would hear something tapping on her windows all night long. When she would finally fall asleep, she dreamt that two Native American men would be outside her windows, tapping on the glass and trying to find a way inside. Eventually, one of the men would find a way to open her windows, crawl inside her room, and he would force her out of her bed and take her outside. He would then drag her across the yard to where the oak trees grew by the dirt driveway. To her horror, the man would sexually assault her beneath the oak trees. After that, she would dream that she was back in her room and the second Native American man was there with her. He took her by the hand and led her through the house until they were in her parents' room. She always saw the same thing. Her parents were in their bed, dead. This happened to her night after night. The dream was the same every single time. There was always the constant tapping on her windows, then the terrible nightmares. After months of being tormented in her sleep, Lauren finally began to sleep on the couch. Her mother always assumed that Lauren fell asleep watching television and never knew the true reason behind Lauren's new sleeping habits. Lauren spent the rest of high school sleeping on the couch. She could not bring herself to spend another night in her room, and she was too scared to tell people what was happening to her. She was afraid that nobody would believe her or that people would think she was crazy. During the last few years that Lauren was living at home, her brother brought home a new girlfriend. This girl was invited to stay the night, and she slept in Lauren's unoccupied room. The next morning, the girl was talking to Lauren over breakfast, and she asked what was wrong with her room. Lauren, never having told anybody about the dreams, asked her what she was talking about. The girl began to tell Lauren about the loud tapping on the windows before she fell asleep. Then she said that she had a terrible nightmare about two Native American men coming into her bedroom and doing the same awful things. Lauren was shocked that this girl was having the same experience as her after spending only one night in her room. She finally admitted to what she had been going through for years and explained that because of the dreams, she spent her nights on the couch. The girl claimed to be an amateur clairvoyant and said that there were some possible explanations for her nightmares. She felt that there were two angry spirits that were trying to warn her of danger if she continued to live in her room. The first one would take her and assault her beneath the trees, and the second one would show her the consequences if she stayed. Several years passed after that incident. Lauren moved out and was attending college, no longer living in the house. One day, a man drove up to the house and asked Lauren's mother if he could look at the property. With him, he had documents proving that his ancestors once lived on the land. He specifically wanted to see the two old oak trees. When he was at the spot between the trees, he told my aunt that some of his family was buried beneath the spot. It was the very same spot where Lauren was attacked every night in her dreams. Lauren's mother was shocked. The man went on to say that most of the land was where a tribe of Native Americans lived, and that somewhere on the property was a sacred burial site. Lauren's mother never told him about the connection between the dreams and the Native Americans and the spot between the oak trees. So he left and they never saw him again. To this day, nobody knows why the spirits of the Native American men came to Lauren in her dreams and caused her harm. All we know is that they wanted to hurt her, and they wanted her gone. Lauren, now happily married and starting her own family, has never again spent another night in her old room. She claims that people who sleep there say that they experience strange things. The old tapping on the window, seeing shadows walk down the hallway, and the general feeling of something being there that they can't see. However, nobody but her or the clairvoyant girl has ever had the nightmares. She jokingly offered for me to stay to sleep over and see for myself if I didn't believe her.